engineers and police makes shaping the next phase of the internet? What principle or lessons from the internet's early history do you believe are most important not to forget?
The most important thing, I think, young people, young engineers, and the next generation of internet users and technicians and policymakers, for me, the most important issue they have to learn is the multi-stakeholder model. That means that we need to ensure that all of the stakeholders, meaning the governments, the academy, the technical community, the private enterprises, and the social organizations need to be involved and need to discuss the possible solutions to our problems in internet. That means we need to listen to each other and not take decisions on one side. For instance, governments should not be the only ones deciding what to do in order to make internet better. I think we all need to share that responsibility and to contribute in the way we can to solutions to those problems. That is called the multi-stakeholder model. So that principle, I think, is the most valuable that we need to pass it on to the next generations.
Okay, I understand. How do you see the legacy and the succession plans for young people in the organizations that constitute the internet ecosystem? Do you think it's a key issue for the future of the internet?
It has a relation with the previous question. I think the next generations that will be designing or improving the design of the internet or establishing policies, public policies in each of our countries, they need to understand that the principles in internet are, for instance, transparency, it's openness, inclusion. So we need to think about those principles because we want internet to be for all. We want everybody in the world to be able to use productively internet in order to do their jobs, to have e-commerce, to learn things using the internet, to communicate with their relatives, with friends, with partners in every part of the world. We want them to know, to learn how to use it productively. And hopefully we can teach our young people how to use it for positive things, not only having entertainment, not only doing buying things or reading about news, artist news or sports people news in Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Not only that, I think it's very important that our young people, our young generations, learn how to use the internet in a productive way, so they can make money out of business using the internet for the good and sake of their families, their communities, their countries. I think those are the principles that we need to pass them to the next generations.
Okay, I know. Do you think it's useful for your generation of internet pioneers to talk or document what do you have done around the internet?
Yes, I think it's very useful. So next generations, when we pass away or when we are tired, this generation, they can learn about ourselves. They like the work you are doing, documenting this and having all people read about this. So I think that's a very useful thing in order to communicate with the next generations. I just did one thing about that. Last year, I wrote and published a book that it's called Footsteps into the Future. So it's in Spanish only, but it's a book that relates the history of internet in El Salvador and also includes my biography in a more conversational way, if you will. I talked there, I wrote these memories having been part of ICANN, the board of ICANN, having been part of the board of LACNIC, the board of LACTLD, these organizations that I have been part of, and of course, having the honor of having received the Lifetime Achievement Award from LACNIC and being inducted into the Internet Hall of Fame in 2021. So I talk about all of these things, the histories, anecdotes, adventures, if you will, so people can learn about what they can do. I'm writing for my children, for my successors, for the young people in El Salvador and other places in the world. So I would like them to read my story so they can be inspired to do things like that for their countries and their communities. The many nations in the United Nations organizations, many countries decided that they wanted to continue with the Internet Governance Forum. As we said before, this forum has turned 20 years now old, but we need to improve their format, improve the contents of this forum, maybe try to get more people from different stakeholders like private enterprises. We all know the big techs, like the big companies that rule the internet because they are social networks or they are platforms used by almost everyone, shopping sites and so on. So we need them to be part of this internet governance effort. So we need to devise how to make them attracted to the governance forum and have the possibility to discuss among governments, private enterprises, academy, social organizations, and so on, and the technical community, so we can continue discussing this, and most of all, getting results that may be applicable afterwards. So those are the big challenges now that the Internet Governance Forum has been made permanent. It will be a permanent event every year, and we need to answer to that, to respond to this desire by the nations, United Nations, that they have agreed to make this permanent.
Thanks for your patience and time to accept our interview.
Thank you.